A very good evening to everyone. Be that be student chaos or occupational chaos, as of current situation, the world is in completely disharmony or disequilibrium. So discussing all these awesome events, we have Dr. Sinchan last with us to discuss all this issue and have an interactive session with him. So starting with the interview, we have some questioners for him. The first question goes, do you think that there's any end to this ongoing pandemic?
No.
Okay. What are the reasons for this increasing cases of pandemic right now?
This is a bit of confusing question because COVID-19 is not at all a first pandemic hit it in the globe. In the previous time, there are lots of diseases, and even in the present time, there are a number of diseases which are ruling the globe, ruling the earth, like pneumonia, like tuberculosis, like several metabolic disorders. Among them, maximum are, or 70 to 80% are the man-made or artificially chronic disorders. There may be a debate, there may be lots of opinions against this. There may be lots of scientifically or so-called scientifically theoretical explanations in the name of practical. They can say, no, this is not happening, this is not at all, this is just a new disease, this, and whatever disease you were mentioning, those are something different, those are not artificial, etc. But actually the factual occurrence is this: COVID-19 or any other bacterial or viral or microbiological disorders are not at all that much dangerous if we are sufficiently strong from our inner side, if we are sufficiently immune from our own interior. But the fact is, day by day, with the unscientific lifestyle, with the ever-growing disease pillars producing factors, with the ever-growing disharmonious factors, with the ever-growing socio-cultural, economic, occupational, educational framework, ever-growing social structures, ever-growing disrupting social phenomena, and the gross environmental degradation, among which maximum are man-made, as we know already. Those are the basic fundamental footsteps for this huge disease outbreaks. Today it is COVID-19, that's just a new name. If today COVID-19 can be stopped by several means, there are lots of opinions. Few people are going behind vaccinations, few people going behind Ayurveda, few people going behind homeopathy, few people going behind artificial sanitizations, etc. But actually, if we humans are not at all hygienic from our inner side. External hygiene is very cheap name. You are washing your hand repeatedly. You are washing your legs repeatedly. Do you think it is sufficient to control any kind of infections, particularly in the viral cases? I don't think so. Even from the very beginning, when this pandemic was started, we have mentioned in our paper that this is not at all a droplet infection. The authorities are misguiding or misleading, but they are repeatedly giving that directions that is droplet infection. It is not an issue of worry. But today the higher authorities saying that no, this is the airborne infection, this is not a droplet infection. So after 4 months of collapsing condition of economy or collapsing total and in the exchange of number of deaths, what is the point of delivering this kind of statement now?
You mean to say that it's the fault of both society and authorities?
This is the main fault of our side.
Society.
Look, you are, and we are, not you are, we are too much concentrating and too much concerning about the vaccination.
Yeah.
We are too much concerning about the precautionary measures. We are covering our mouth and nose with handkerchief. We are covering our mouth and nose with a cotton mask. We are covering our mouth with gamcha, with towel, with sari, etc. In the very few cases, we are covering our mouth with the tri-layer surgical mask. Where we are wearing the surgical mask, this single-use mask we are using from the weeks after weeks.
Yes, that's true.
The N95 mask, which is the particularly prescribed mask for the prevention of this COVID-19, this is not at all reusable mask. And the amount, the expenditure of this mask, a single mask, is not a matter of joke for a common people, for a lower socio-economic conditions people. And it is not possible to buy that mask regularly for them. It is impossible. So by the means of, even this is most surprising, the government is delivering their verdict that you have to wear the mask.
So here I want to ask you one thing, like this N95 you're talking about. It's said that it's basically for like medical professionals and the common people can't use this mask. But still the authorities are all...
First of all, authorities are not stating that you have to use N95. They're stating like a child, you have to cover your mouth and nose by any means. They thought that a virus is a matter of joke. They can block the path, they can save your mouth, and they can break the path through the mask. But it is not at all possible, and it is not possible. It is a incomplete term. The actual term it must not be possible, and it is impossible. And secondly, they are stating that wash your hands repeatedly with soaps. Good, but wash your hand with sanitizers. After washing that, the alcohol and based sanitizer, with the alcohol based sanitizer, you are washing your hand to kill the COVID SARS-CoV-2. And it is not at all true that it is not at all possible there is only SARS-CoV-2. There are lots of dust particles also. So when you are cleaning like this, the debris and the dust particles are still there. And after cleaning with the sanitizer, you are taking food with that hand. What is this? Second point. The third point, when at the first time when the WHO and the central government, state government, they are delivering the social distancing is the one side at the single way to prevent SARS-CoV-2 or prevent COVID-19. Today, there are lots of people who are affected by COVID-19 who are not at all closely intermingled with the society. They are always take a safe distance from the society. Being after making the safe distance, they are still affected by the COVID-19.
True.
Then the hypothesis of social distancing is not at all scientific, and this is totally vague. Finally, as we have mentioned in our paper, 2 papers, and those are published in 2 international journals, and their links are already in several, and these papers are already covered by several media agencies. You can find this in Google. But where we have mentioned the basic funda or basic fundamental thing behind this COVID-19 is the ACE2 and TMPRSS2. These genes or these kind of gateways are possible who are affected by diabetes mellitus, hypertension, who are not affected by, it is a wrong term, who are taking medicines or taking drugs for diabetes mellitus, hypertension, coronary artery disease, prostatomegaly, benign hypertrophy of prostate, carcinoma prostate, like etc. 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 And in case of females, then endometrial pathologies. And it is most painful to say, being a doctor, today in today's scenario, among the total cases of these morbid disorders or comorbidities or metabolic disorders, 70 to 75% are due to faulty prescriptions, whimsical prescriptions, and unscientific lifestyle. Instead of correcting lifestyles, instead of correcting our social psychological status, we are only prescribing the drugs day by day, day by day, day by day, and the patients are depending on the drugs. So you can say these diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and these kinds of diseases, the chronic diseases, you can give the term addiction. Actually, these people are drug addicted. They are not at all diseased by any natural disease. They are diseased by their will. They are diseased by their choice.
Okay. So,
and your answer is, and this SARS-CoV-2 is just because to eat these impurities, those are within ourselves, within our body. One thing I want to mention, microorganisms are always in our environment. It is like a child's verdict or statement that you can control the microorganisms or infections through the vaccines because they are innumerable microorganisms. Those are not at all controllable by any drugs, because if you can control a strain of virus or bacteria through a particular vaccine, but that bacteria or virus, as per the Darwin's theory, they are continuously modulating themselves and they are evolving themselves from the more complexer one, and your previous vaccines are then worthless for that purpose. Then you have to invent a second vaccine, then second, then third, then fourth, then fifth, then sixth. What is the end? So you have to live within that microorganisms, but you have to strong from your inner side where you can control where you are able to control that kind of infections. You can prevent those infections to take entry within your body.
So do you mean to say that the vaccines are not important?
Not at all.
So, like, as of this situation, but as of this society, if we see, vaccines are made basically compulsory. Like, if a parents doesn't want, the doctor gives the vaccine. So it's like, I don't think that it's in the hand of a person to decide whether he gets a vaccine or not.
Today you can say that there are lots of cultures, you can say, where the patient doesn't have any choice. But they have to. They should have. Because their life, they have the right to decide. Even today, people are running behind the vaccines and they are waiting for the vaccines. And first graded medias are covering, the Oxford University are going to publish the vaccines. ICMR within 15th of August, within the few months, they can marketize the vaccine. And do you think this is a matter of joke? This is a matter of whimsical artificialization or administration. This is not at all a question of life. They're behaving like that we are the God, we can do everything. We can do everything, we can, yes, after 4 days and 5 days or 4 months, 5 months, 4 years, 5 years, there is no problem, so the drug is safe. Who can say? After 14 years, after 20 years, there will be the problem? Yes, this may be beyond your imagination, beyond your knowledge. So beyond your knowledge doesn't mean there is no facts or there is no phenomenon. It is your limitation. Nextly, uh, whatever measures they took, there are actual measures they left out. Like they have to ban tobacco, they have to ban alcohol, they have to collect the data from those comorbid patients, they have to close the airport from the beginning, but they didn't. Not actually. Even today, you are going to market, you are going to your workplace, you must see, there are lots of people who are smoking in the public place.
Yes.
And after smoking, they are putting their mask. So the excreta, the extra carbon dioxide particles are trapped within the mask, and those particles are again inhaled by the patient. In a closed car, they are traveling, they are wearing a mask. Why? Because police are going to fine you. Who is the authority? Is there any authority for police to take the decision? Is there any authority of the policeman to take the decision how to use the mask and when to use the mask? Just because of they are following the direction of government. And this kind of decisions are made by government with a whimsical manner. This is not at all good and not at all expectable.
Okay, that's regarding the COVID-19. There's so much of COVID-19 here now. Let's move on to our other question. So, do you think that it was necessary to cancel the examinations?
No, not at all. Examination is important, but being a faculty, being an academician, I can say, in the today's academic structure, the institutions are too much concentrating about the examinations. Instead of taking classes in a proper manner, instead of delivering proper knowledge, they didn't bother actually. Even in my life, my career, I see there are lots of structures or curriculum where completion of the syllabus is of prior importance. There is no right for the students to gain knowledge. There is no right for the students to gain extra knowledge or to inquire their answers from their faculties. Yes, there are some faculties, there are a number of faculties who are encouraging, who are inspiring, but there are the structures and there are lots of faculties who are not inspiring also. So instead of concentrating about the examination only, they have to think in a more wise manner, where both side of the academics, like students and faculties, students and their outcomes should be in the balanced condition.
So on this, there were few cases where students committed suicide because they couldn't attend the classes, they didn't have availability of the internet and all this. We heard in the news. So what do you feel that where did the authorities or where the educational institution went wrong that the students had to took such a harsh decision?
If you consider these kinds of phenomena as an isolated way, then you cannot find the answer. Actually, this is a culture of this modern time where no one has the time. No one has the time to listen. No one has the time to analyze. Authority, any government or non-government, they are there to whipping their verdict. They are not at all interested to listen, to analyze, to rethink. No. And you can, if you think about these kinds of depressive conditions, the structure of the society is like that rabbit who are running in a harsh manner, without any goal, without anything. They are running. But towards what? They actually don't know. There are lots of students who are academically pronounced, who have the talent, but they are only running behind the government jobs to earn money. When you can ask why you are running, I have to earn money, I have to make a family, I have to marriage, I have to do my family, make my family, and this I am sufficiently satisfied with these kinds of lifestyle. After a few days, when they have become frustrated, they have become resistant with their continuous similar kind of jobs, they are going to take abusive substances. After that, there is a miscommunication between the families. After that, there is bossing by the father, bossing by the mother, resistance by the children. And because of the resistance from the parent side, resistance from the children's side, there is a communication gap. And when these threads are continuously pulling from the two sides, one day the poor threads cut it off or broke down. And after this condition, that child feels that I am in the last condition of this groove. I do not have any option, so I have to quit. So why they have these kinds of mentality? The society, the structure, this copy-paste mentality, this running mentality, this lack of goal, this everything. These are throwing that child there. These are endorsing within the child that you should be the depressed one and you have to suicide.
Here I just wanted to ask one more thing, like the youths are the students who are declared as a future of tomorrow. But as of today, if you see the suicide rates and depression, though you are telling those answers, but I wanted in more zest, like what's the reason? Because if youths and students are dying, then who will create the future for tomorrow?
Who bother? Who bother? There is no one. Everybody is thinking that my child is in the safe hand. I am going to admit my child in a medical college, in the engineering college, or in this. So my child will earn a good amount of money, and he or she should be a happier one. But there is a question. You can secure your children, your life of your children through the money, but what about the satisfaction?
Exactly.
What about the enjoyment? Enjoyment is not that you are going to the bar, you are going to the restaurant, you are going to the park, you are going to travel worldwide. Enjoyment means you have to enjoy your work every day. You have to enjoy your every second with that satisfaction. Enjoyment doesn't mean you have to drink, you have to smoke, you have to you have to be addicted. But the actual enjoyment is you have to satisfy you from your regular life. But who bothers? One day, and you were saying a very good thing that these youth are the future of tomorrow. Not only future of tomorrow, today's youths are tomorrow's parents.
Yes.
And tomorrow's parents are then after grandparents. And again, this cycle reversing, continuous. This is a continuous cycle. But the building blocks, youths are or students are the building blocks of this educational system. You can see, most probably you have seen the making of a house, where each and every bricks are organized in a very choosy manner and very carefully. And those each and every bricks are the students. And those cements and sands, the inner layer, the internal layers, or between the bricks there are layers. And that layers are the satisfaction, the knowledge, the love, the care, the empathy, the sympathy, this. But in the modern society, this layer is not at all there. So there is a friction between these bricks. And I have mentioned the bricks are the students. And when there is a friction between two bricks, the bricks will be exhausted and bricks will be damaged, like the students are also going to be damaged. And each and every bricks of which foundation is not at all correct, not at all healthy, then how can you expect the entire foundation will be healthy? A small insult, a small injury, a small storm, a small anything can damage, can collapse the entire house. Like that, a small snap can collapse the entire educational foundation. And this is also applicable for the socio-medical standard or condition or scenario of the society. Like, we are very much confident that we are humans, we are the gods, we have that right to establish, to damage, to destroy everything. We can create and destroy. We are the creator, we are the dictator. But actually we are the destructor, we are the destroyer. Actually the humans, who are the most, till today's date, most evolved animal. The animal with lots of capacity to destruct. An animal who have that capability to state that we are God. To harm other animals, to harm the plants, to harm the nature. There is no other animal who have that potential to harm the nature, they harm the environment. But actually, if you see closely, humans are a small fragmented part of the ecosystem or environment, and the structure will be like this: individual. Like I am saying here, the humans, the individuals, the collection of individuals are known as family. Collection of family, or one family in an extended manner can create a house. That house, we are saying that is a dream house, it is a dream family, it is the dream home. You can say home. So family, extended family makes a house or home. And the collection of homes are known as para or mahalla or block. Collection of blocks, word. Collection of words, district. Collection of words, a village. Collection of villages, district. Collection of districts, state. Collection of states, country. Collection of countries, larger country. And like this, the collection of these countries are the globe. Collection of globes, or collection of stars, collection of these planets is the universe. So, in the respect of universe, who is a human? Who is an individual? Nothing but a dust particle, or something more smaller than the dust particle. And you can see in this chain, each and every fragment of this environment, each and every fragment of this society are closely related with one another, each other. If any of this element receives a small kind of insult, a small kind of damage, a small kind of injury, the entire system will suffer for that. And today you are cutting plants. Today you are burning the forests, like the Amazon fire, like the Shushunia fire, like the lots of fires you have seen, you have witnessed already. You are beating, you are killing the animals in a brutal manner. Dolphins are killed by endorsing the iron rods. Dogs are killed by pulling their legs in the adverse manner. What kind of ridiculous violence is this? Do you think these kinds of violent creatures have they got any right? Have any right to live? No, never, not at all. And humans are day by day, damaging like this. They are stating, yes, I am perfect. And by delivering this statement, they are damaging others. A boss is whipping their employee. Those employees are whipping their subordinates. Those subordinates are whipping their family. The family members are whipping their child. and the child is whipping their friends, and again that child go to the house or a family, and they're insulting their parents, and that parents is become more violent, and that outbreaks and outburst will be in their locality, and like this the entire scenario, the entire social structure got destroyed and disrupted. This is not at all a matter of joke. This is truly a matter of worry.
Here I would like to ask one the thing you talk about, the bricks. That is a very good concept you told us. Then I want to ask the collection of this society or collection of bricks you are talking about, where the things went wrong or what blocks went wrong, like because of this some section of people don't have a voice to say. Since you are telling that people proclaim themselves to be a god, so with such an discrimination or such an violence on them, why can't they speak up?
Is there any scope? Is there any right to speak anything? For example, you are witnessing there is happening a crime. A crime is happening there. Do you have that guts to protest? No. If you protest, you will be killed.
And if we protest also, the point is like there will be only one person. Everybody will say we will, but there will be only one person.
No, if one person is there, two persons will be there. If two persons will be there, in the few next years, maybe the three persons will be there. But protest by means of what? In this today's date, you are standing in a second floor of a building whose primary floors are totally obstructed. You do not have any option to going downstairs. You have to go upstairs, but you have seen, you can see, and you may be witnessed, you can see that the lower portions, the lower first floor or ground floors are starting to be damaged. And the house will be collapsed in a very recent future. But you have to go upwards. Then what is the point to go upwards without correcting the entire thing? Why not we are going to the ground floor by taking a risk? Yes, this is the time when we have to take the risk to stand again in the ground floor, where we have to establish, we have to make this emperor of the civilization in a very choosy manner, in a very careful manner, not with the conscious dominance. This should be happened in the most gentle manner, most wise manner, not in the biased manner.
Sir, you said about this disconnection and disharmony where people are doing.
You can say that this is not at all the disconnection. You can say this communication gap.
Okay. So why is that?
Very simple. Disrespect.
Okay, one more thing I want to ask here. As of today, society basically thinks that governmental things are like free or not so free things are like not so good, and they mainly focus on privately owned sectors or private schools, private business, and this and that. So, like, what do you feel like with private schools and private educational systems are good or like government education? But as of now, the government
The answer is not at all that much simple. This is again a story. As you know, education, health, these are the common fundamental rights of a citizen. But in the one hand, you are stating this is your fundamental right. In the other hand, you are destroying the status, you are destroying the total protocol, total system, and you are promoting this private sectors. This is nothing but the hypocrisy. Private schools, private hospitals, it is very true there are overload of the government hospitals, and that's why people are running behind the private hospitals, and there are so cheap business policies running within that private hospitals, which are very furious and scaring also. Secondly, and this kind of business within the hospitals are not a new one, everyone know that. Nextly, the educational system. I think there must be some profession, there must be something which must not be considered as the profession. You can say they are also they should have the money, they have to earn money. Yes, they have to earn, but you have to be very pronounced, you have to be very clear about your earning, about your demand. But human mind is like that, where you cannot control the mind about your earning, about your demand, about your expectation, until and unless you are consciously doing a frame, making a frame to bound that kind of your expectations.
And more.
And more and more and more. And there is unlimited. Like this, and the upbringing of you can say the plantation of the educational private sectors is a planned step, is a planned cold-blooded step taken by the governmental authorities to promote the business. Whoever in the chair, this is the fault and dangerous condition of the educational system. In the one hand, you are saying about the free. In the one hand, one is saying that free things are very bad.
Yeah.
There is a statement in the Bengali, Swastika Subba. Matlab, means there are very bad conditions, 3 bad conditions of a cheap material, of free material. And the next hand, you are going to take the free advice from a doctor. You are going to take the free lesson from a teacher. You are going to buy a cheap material from the givers. But actually the free providers, maximum of the free providers thought that they are the givers, so they are superior, and the takers are the inferior. So this is nothing but the creating a gap between two communities, and this gap is not at all a very easy one to wipe out. Nextly, why should a person is too much hungry about the money? A boy, a student, an individual is concentrating to taking the education with the exchange of a lump sum amount of money, with a handsome amount of money.
Yeah.
After passing, it should be their primary goal to re-earn the money. But if the expenditure of that system is minimum, if the total economic condition will be well designed, then there should be no issue of this kind of money hunger. A doctor should give a missionary service, a doctor should give a voluntary service, but you cannot give the respect to a doctor. You are not going to show any gratitude to the doctor. You are giving the fees. Do you think amount of 300, 400, 500, 1000, 2000, whatever money you are giving to a doctor, this is sufficient for your life? This is actually the price of your life. Do you think that? This is a kind of joke, you can say. This is kind of a play, you can say. Or this is kind of a hypocrisy. And nextly, a doctor who are going to take admission in a private hospital, private medical college, they have to spend a good amount of money, the 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs. So after passing the MBBS or after passing the postgraduate, he or she have to earn that, re-earn the money from their job. A person who is expending 10,000, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs, how can one expect from them they are going to serve voluntarily? If you can, if you are going to expect this kind of service from the doctors in the voluntary manner, then you have to curtail out your fees. You have to make a strict framework about your fee structure. You cannot going with the legs being on the two boats at a sea.
That's fact.
Right.
All the hospitals, all the education institutes, they charge different amount.
Yeah.
They don't have that fixed rate. So, like here, don't you think that government should also fix it?
For me, government is no one. You cannot blame government at all. We are the subjects, or we are the materials who are giving that kind of power to the governments by ignoring ourselves. This ignorance is the disease, actual disease of this modern time.
But here, sir,
I have to clear one thing. Look, government means a VIP, a collection of VIP cabinets. One person who are in the government, they think that he or she is the king or queen.
yes,
But there is a long gap. These governmental policies comes under the politics of a country or global politics. And politics doesn't mean Rajniti. Rajniti should be designed for the king or queen. I am repeatedly saying this. Rajniti, this term, is the main culprit who are giving that idea to the ministers that they are the king or queen. Actually, this is the Rashtraniti, not the Rajniti. And in this Rashtraniti, the political system, each and every politicians are our representative. They have to listen our side also. Even during this pandemic, from the institution, we have repeatedly write the letter to the PMO. There is a reply about the PM fund, PM.CARE fund, etc. So the Prime Minister or the government is too much concentrating about our money, but not our idea. Who gives that authority to the government to ignore a citizen? They are bound to listen each and every citizen in an unbiased manner. They have to. This is their duty. For listening, for this purpose, they are there. An official who are the administrative one, after passing the administrative services exam, they have forgotten that they are nothing but the servant of the public. Not at all. More than anything. But think them, yeah, they are the officers and they have the right to insult the public. They have the right to insult a common people. They have forgotten they are nothing but the servant of a public. You can give the term job, you can give the lucrative term, but actual term is service. And the service providers are the servants. Servants of what? Government? No. Service providers are the servant of this public, the entire country. Even they are servant from their own also. They have to clear from this point. So this kind of mentality are the mentality of the bossing, comes from their bossing tendencies. And these bossing tendencies are there where a topmost official, a minister, is insulting their lower class, the lower officer. Their lower officer is insulting their subordinate, they are there, subordinate, they are there, subordinate, they are there, subordinate, until there the fourth class staffs. But if a particular fourth class staff is revolting, the chair of the minister will be collapsed. But this, by this insulting culture, the entire governmental policies is currently run under the supervision of a giant known as insult and disrespect. And the ultimate outcome is a big zero.
Okay, so you talked about this disharmony or this miscommunication between the commons and all. So, according to you, like, what is the reason for such a deprivation and ignorance of the government and the society?
Copy paste mentality, lack of goal designing, wrong people are in the wrong direction, wrong people are in the wrong position, and most importantly, disrespect. No one is there to respect anybody, but they want their respect. It is not possible. If today they are not going to correct this social culture, this entire system, if this is not the time to reconstruct or redesign the structure, one day, this is not at all in the very far, we have to eat our own meat with our own hand. No one going to stop.
The day is not so far.
Yes, that day is not so far.
Okay, on concluding this interaction session with Dr. Sinchan Das, I would like to ask him one last question. Like, we talked about all these problems or the issues what society is doing or the government is doing. So on concluding this session, I would like to ask what reformations or what steps that government must have taken, or what society should have taken, that it could have been a better situation right now.
I am again saying this, government is no one to take any step. We have to reconstruct ourselves from the very beginning. At the very fundamental point, from the very fundamental point, we have to remove the negative words, the no types of words from our dictionary. A teacher must not have any right to say you are good for nothing. A teacher must not have any right to say whip a person without any logic. A teacher is a guide. A teacher is a guardian. A teacher is a caregiver. A teacher is a friend, philosopher, everything. A parent doesn't have any right to insult their child. Each and every person will be a flexible one. They must, beyond any kind of resistance, they must possess that understanding, and they must beyond their any kind of biasness. And this ignorance should not be there. And from the today's time, I can say, please let this your habit to listen everybody. Listening doesn't mean that you are giving a status in the social media. Please say your problems to me. You do not have any time to listen your problem. You are no one to listen any other's problem. So you have your friends, you have your families, you have your parents, you have your students, you have your every associates. You can share your ideas, your thoughts, your problems with them. And they must from their side also. Don't run behind the drugs, don't run behind the vaccines, don't run behind the medical facilities, liquid medical facilities. Rather, from this running, you can go behind the reformations, you can go behind the happiness, you can go behind the sympathetic attitude, you can go behind the empathetic attitude. And please, please, please don't compare yourself from anyone. From this comparison mentality, each and every person is comparing oneself with others who is not at all of that equal importance or equal quality of that person. And by comparing, one people are going to be frustrated and one people are going to be upwards. And this is not at all a culture, this is not at all a good culture for the next future. You have to respect everybody, you have to respect a small ant also. If you are good, if you are positive, If you are perfect, there is no microorganism, no infection, nothing, no disease is there to kill you. The only enemy of that from that point is your age. One day, due to aging, you will be died, but not like this manner, by the ventilator, with the ventilatory support, with the BiPAP, with the injections, with these. You don't have to die. You don't deserve this. You have the better choice. Don't go the allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha. Go with yourself. Just focus on your life, focus on your health, focus on your society, focus on your associates. One day, the world will be the beautiful. But today, if again, yes, you can say this is a joke, this is a worthless time spending, you do not have any time, etc. You can blame me, you can insult me, this is your choice. But this, with that fact, with that your insult, this kind of factual statements is not at all proved as wrong. So you have to obey this and you have to follow these paths if you want a healthy future.
Thank you so much, sir, for all your answers, and that was a very good and interactive session with Dr. Sinchan Das, and hope to see you next time, guys, again with better topic and more coverage on other topics also. So thank you so much.